Pleasant good afternoon. Once again, this is John Verlin with On Demand Advertising Solutions and another digital marketing update. Today I want to talk about something that I've been reading about this. You may have seen these as well. Different articles, a couple of actual shows, TV programs or whatever about the amount of time we spend with social media and what that does to our well-being, our life balance. And I'm going to go further and say the amount of time we spend with technology in general. I've been seeing a bunch of people lately saying, oh yeah, I haven't used my phone or checked in on Facebook in a week, feeling good, and that kind of stuff. And there was a really good post in Women's at Forbes by Dr. Jaime Kulaga that I want to kind of talk about, some fine points she makes, and I want to kind of give my own 2 bits on this as well. But this is something that if we look prospectively, say 30 years ago, if I were to have told you that, we may end up becoming addicted to something we're holding in our hand, and it could affect our relationships with our loved ones, you'd probably think I was crazy, or you'd think it's a sci-fi movie or it's aliens or something. But the fact is, when you have new technologies, let's think of, say, radio. In the early 1900s, they probably didn't think you'd get addicted to anything other than alcohol or possible opium, or things like that. Probably wouldn't be addicted to the newspaper unless you were just really, really bored every day and you had access to it. Radio comes along, and there might have been people who loved the technology and were listening all the time. Every evening they'd get home, they'd tune in a ball game or whatever music program. And then you look at the telephone. Probably in the 20s and 30s or whatever, people were just communicating. They didn't really have phones everywhere. But then in the 50s and 60s, you're like, my daughter won't even get off the phone. She's on that thing all night, talking to her boyfriend or whatever. So technologies that make life easier can become addictive to some degree. But I think today we're seeing something that may be a little unprecedented just because of the global effect that the apps have, the smartphones have, technology in general have, because we can connect so fast and so quickly. Is this really healthy? And when it comes to social media, and you're using that for your business, should you worry about this? Is this something you should think about? Well, let's again put it in perspective to other technologies. But Dr. Kulaga says several things here. She said, number one, don't compare your life with photos you see of people posted on social media in their life. Realize that's a moment in time in somebody else's life, and it's on social media for just that person. She calls it a highlight reel. You're seeing a bunch of best clips of people's lives, and what's dangerous about this highlight reel is that you're comparing a bunch of people's best moments to your entire life. And this can decrease confidence and be very discouraging. I know when I was in Florida, I posted a bunch of stuff from Walt Disney World and the Kennedy Space Center, and I had people on Facebook, friends of mine, cut it out, you're killing me. Glad you're having a good time, What were they doing? Well, maybe comparing what they were experiencing to what they're seeing that I'm experiencing, and it was making them discouraged that they couldn't be there. So, again, put it in perspective and don't compare your life to somebody else's. So when you're scrolling through the media, social media, get real. Again, understand, put it in perspective that every single person that you're viewing faces trials and tribulations, and that, once you see this and you accept that, well, that is a moment in time for someone, recognize you can't realistically compare their one moment in time to your entire life. And when you post things, other people can do the same thing. Second point she makes is limit your time on social media. 5 minutes in the morning, 15 minutes at lunch, 20 minutes at night, all of that adds up. I know when I've gone to bed at night, I'll say, well, I'm going to go ahead and look at my Facebook. And even since they've changed the algorithm and it's more friends and family stuff, and you see these videos of animals and how cute they are and all that, that can spread into 30 minutes, maybe even an hour. You're looking at videos or baby pictures or whatever. So limit the time you're spending, and start becoming getting more aware of how much time you're actually spending. Track how many minutes you spend on social media, and then cut that time in half. Get back to doing something healthy for your mind or your body. Go exercise, go watch TV or something for a while, because these are things that can interfere with our personal relationships and our business relationships. How many times have you been in a meeting and somebody pulls out their phone, and while the speaker's speaking, they're texting? I was actually at a seminar once, and one of the salespeople I work with got a phone call, and he's in the back of the room talking to somebody while the person's speaking, and the speaker called him out on it. And the salesperson said, "Oh, it's my stockbroker." I mean, it was pretty rude. Now, how many times have you seen something like that happen? All because of that thing in our pocket that we pull out and we start using, whether it's texting, getting alerts, whatever it is. So limit your time. Do your business, put it away. Third point she makes is avoid distractions. And again, this stuff can be distracting. If you're in the middle of something, you get a pop-up, your phone says, so-and-so just followed you. It can become one distraction, then 20. So basically, when you're working on something, be sure all your social media tabs of the computer are closed. Don't have push notifications. It takes 15 minutes usually, from what research shows, she says, to get into the flow or the zone. And when you're interrupted, you get distracted, it takes longer to get back. So don't waste your time. Just shut it down, do your business, and then do what you need to do. And don't worry about being liked. And this can be, and for your business, this is, you're paying money for whatever it is you're doing on marketing on social media or advertising or whatever, and you want to see what kind of results you're getting. And this can be really a big deal if it's personal likes as opposed to business too. But so many people get that dopamine high by getting a like or getting a positive result. And keep in mind, a lot of the app creators and the social media companies have hired neurological software designers to tie those things in on your apps to get those notifications to get you addicted. I mean, that's been out. It's been on 20 or 60 Minutes or 2020 or whatever, that these things are happening, just like gambling. They want you to get addicted to whatever it is, so you keep feeling like, I got to get one more. I got to get that dopamine high for the day. And those likes can do it. Okay? So don't post out content and then hover over everything to see what kind of feedback you get. I know a lot of young people, I say young people, but they're brought up with this, and they can make or break their day if they don't get liked. Now, what's that doing to your social relationships and your ability to have a positive self-image? So if you hover over social media to see what comes in, instead just get a time limit for posting and checking your social media. Post your content, then check your social media, say, 30 minutes or so. Then go work on something, a goal or a task, and then as a reward, she says, you can check your social media status. Well, I'm going to go further and say, just put it away. If you're not making profit, if this isn't, and this is my view of it, if it's not personally profitable financially to you, you don't need to be spending a lot of time with it, because your emotions will change day in and day out. And, it's one of those things where if it starts affecting you psychologically, you're depressed more, whatever, it's not a good thing. Get away from it. Think about the last time you were on a vacation. I remember I was down in Jamaica. No, I was actually years ago in the Bahamas. And we didn't have a TV, or wherever we were staying, we didn't turn it on. And we had no idea what was going on back in the U.S. We didn't know if the country still existed. Why? Well, because we were out snorkeling and swimming and having a great time and not even thinking about the news or television or anything. We were focused on something else. And so it didn't affect us. And that's a great way to put things in perspective of what's really important. If you go out to, I don't know, Wyoming or something where they don't have cell towers, and say you go to Yellowstone and you can't pick up anything on the phone and you're out hiking and enjoying nature, so to speak. Well, you know what? You're not going to necessarily miss a week later the fact you didn't get any likes or anything else because you're focused on something different. Number 5, she says, is put your main life roles first. The goal here is to give quality time and attention to those people, the ones you love and care for, before you give time to social media. Again, this 30 years ago, this would have been we wouldn't be talking about this. Because 30 years ago, families would sit down, have dinner. Hopefully they talked to each other. And today we're seeing people sitting next to each other, not even talking. They're texting. And maybe they're not even doing that. They're just not talking. So put the main people in your life first. That's critical. And during those important moments, definitely put your phone away. Just put it away. Put it in your pocket. And I know you're going to start getting nervous if you can't look at it. Studies have been done on this. How long can you get away from that thing without affecting you? But put it down. Make a commitment to yourself that you're not going to swipe the push notifications or post the photo you just took on to social media. Be present and in the moment. You can always post photos, and check it out later on when you're alone or you put your phone aside for that purpose. But again, these are just some things that to really focus on what's really important and put things in perspective. Because in 5 years, 10 years, that technology can change. It'll be something totally different. But you can't go back to repair the relationships you may have missed out on. And I speak to myself as well as all of us about this because it's so easy to be sucked in and get our attention focused on these things and I just read something the other day about this, that anxieties are increasing. Doctors are reporting more anxieties that people are having because we're worn out from all of Trump's tweets, the news, the instant information on weather, shootings, whatever it is. We get that stuff so fast and so often on our phones now. Before, you used to have to turn the TV news on or pick up the paper and learn about it. Now we get it instantaneously and a lot of it. So that's why it's another good idea to put this in perspective, turn it off, get away from it, breathe. Think clearly, give yourself time to get away. And do that on a regular basis too. That keeps everything in perspective. John Verlin 12 at AT&T.net is my email. I'd love to hear from you. Questions, comments. And OnDemandAdvertisingSolutions.com is the website. And we'll talk to you soon.